the time right now? Okay. Let me grab my phone. 7:59. 59. Confirm. Odd. Hang on. Okay. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you've been your game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12. They call it a day. But you are actually taking the time to set the clock, and I accept that. That's how I know that you care about this experience you're playing. Thank you. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell me what I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so next time you boot up the game and see that this screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. What time did 9/11 happen? What time did 9/11 happen? Cause I'm doing that. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the current time. You've earned it. Thank you! Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Thank you, bye! Okay, begin the game. Either way, yeah, this is the game that I'll be playing. I'm skipping, I'm sorry. Welcome back. When the did I play this? Get your first trophy.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
I'm gonna completely not do that. I'm not gonna follow the instructions. I'm gonna go right.
When Stanley came to a set of two
Shut
open
up.
doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Frig that.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
You sound like my 5th grade English teacher. No, not 8th grade, 5th.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Goodbye.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Thank you. It brings me back? What if I just sit back down? Okay. Fine, I'm gonna follow his rules.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. Eating room, yada
Yet
yada yada.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation.
I don't like this.
His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What the fuck?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts.
I don't like this.
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself?
Shut the
Believing
fuck
that
up.
if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too, surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
What?
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
No thanks.
My life is normal.
Mine
I am
isn't.
normal.
No, I'm not.
Everything will be fine. I am okay.
I'm not.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What the fuck?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking
Stanley.
and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, For just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting
Stanley
she
being
had
a retard.
scheduled for that day.
With my dog?
Very important people whose impressions of
That's
her would
just
affect
him
her
every day.
career, and by extension,
Don't worry,
the rest
just
of
kick
her
him.
life.
He'll wake up
She
again.
had no time for this.
That's
So
my
it
dog,
was
Stanley.
only a
He'll kick a
moment
human,
that
I
she
know.
stood there,
Just kick him.
staring down
Kick
at the
him in
body.
his ball sacks.
And then she turned and ran.
For me, she isn't. Is this seriously a fucking ending? How did that do nothing?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Motherfucker.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
Okay,
meeting
fine.
room.
Let's do it the
Perhaps
right
he had
way.
simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nobody
Yet there was
here.
not a single person here either.
Yeah, no.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I don't like his boss's office.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I don't like that way. I like this way. Oh, bye.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would
Because
not
he
go
found, he
unanswered
figured out
for
that
long.
crack's a thing.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Fuck that.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Don't care.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Don't care. Down I go. Did I die?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know
What the fuck
real
is in front of
story,
me?
trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is.
Oh, well,
Perhaps
shit.
his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
No, I'm just staying right here.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Don't want to do that.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now?
Button
Do you see that
sounds.
Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
I like this. The office. Nice. Huh? The 2 doors. Huh. Oh yeah, this is the beginning. Stanley's computer. Office layout. Oh my gosh. Filing cabinets. Office computers. That's gotta be a reference to the office. That has to be. Like Sam's computer. That has to be. Huh. Credits. Okay. I just knew my name and like my last name. Probably like freaking get off this game. Huh? Mechanical room? Is that back in my office? Oh my gosh, it's a secret ending. Screwdriver. The money thing? I don't know how to do the money thing. I know I sort of ish. 7. Oh. The off. Yes, okay. Oh! It changes. So the first time you play, second time and third time. Huh. What the fuck? Machine room. Exit. Screw it.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
No,
No,
I see black.
perhaps not.
What the fuck?
Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game.
How the frig does it know?
Forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
I don't want to turn on my PS5 now. What F? I guess that's it. See you all later. Lots of flip out. Bye. I will play more of this. Yeah. What the fuck is this game?